Hello again, everybody. Today I want to do a pretty short video, but kind of a simple demonstration of using the merge command. Now, the goal of the merge command is when we have multiple files, but we want to bring them together to work with them as a single file. Now, there's a lot of reasons why we might have kept the files separate, privacy issues, or simply maybe different departments, different agencies, or different efforts being made to measure particular topics. But if we have a unique identifier, and of course the example we're going to look at here we do, if we've got a unique identifier that we can match up across the two files, then it's actually pretty easy for a software program like SPSS to bring those files together as one file. Now, the file you've got open in front of you right now is the Uniform Crime Report data for 2016, the state level data. Now, we're not really going to worry about all of the data here, but what we are really interested in here are these first four variables. We've got the state, we've got the name, we have a state abbreviation, and we also have the FIPS code. And you might remember that the FIPS code is a unique identifier for the state, and that's put together by the federal government. Now, the interesting thing here, of course, is to remember that in addition to that, all of these are unique identifiers, right? Since each one of these states is being represented only once with a year's worth of data, we have only one case for Arizona. Arizona is recorded as state number 2 in this data. Its abbreviation is AZ, and it has a FIPS code of 4. Now, the reason, however, we like the FIPS code is for two reasons. One, as a federal code, it means there are probably going to be a lot of different data sources out there that use the same FIPS code. So we don't have to worry, for example, about that being an issue where someone's decided to number the states a different way. And so you can see, for example, the first variable here of state, there's nothing saying that another agency is going to use that same numbering system. And then also with the name and the state abbreviation, we don't have to worry about some of them being capitalized or not capitalized, or the name being spelled with a hyphen or an extra space in there. Instead, we rely on something like the FIPS code. Now, this is the UCR data. And here's the census data. And you can see for the census data, we also have the FIPS code listed. Now, when we want to merge in SPSS, there's a couple things we want to do first. One, we note that the variable has the same name. So again, we've got FIPS, and going back to the census data and the UCR data, you can see we also have FIPS listed here. Now, another important thing, and I'm going to go over the variable view, is that you can see that the FIPS code is a string variable with only 2 characters. And it's important that when we take a look at the census data, that is also the case. And you can see again, FIPS, string, and 2. So that all looks really good. Now, the last move we always have to make is the program is going to want to try and merge them together in order. Now, in this case, order is going to be whatever order we tell it, but more importantly, it's going to be whatever order the FIPS code puts it in. So what I'm going to simply go here is do data view. I'm going to right mouse click up the top where it says FIPS. So I go right on the name, and I press the right mouse key. And I'm going to click where it says sort ascending. And that's just going to ensure that the numbers go from 0 through the highest. And once I've done that, I'm going to simply save it. Now I'm also going to go, this is my census data, I'm going to go to the UCR, I'm going to go back to the data view, I'm going to go up to where it says FIPS code, I'm going to right mouse click, I am also going to say sort ascending, and what I want you to do is before I click this, look up here in the corner, and you just see the file name. Now I'm going to say sort ascending, and now look up here as well. You can see a little asterisk has popped up. The reason for that is the program's telling you that you've changed the data and you haven't saved it. So once we click save, the asterisk goes away. Now, I've got everything together now. I've got my data, and so I'm just going to scroll here very quickly. I'm going to show you variables going all the way through offense 998. Go back to my data view. I'm going to go up here. I'm going to say data, merge files. Now in this case, there's a question of whether we're adding cases or are we adding variables. So are we adding more information about the states or are we adding more states? In this case, we're adding more information about the states. So we're not adding cases, we're adding variables. It's going to say what's the data set that you want to connect with. Now, it's going to list any open data you have except the one that you currently have open. So again, up here you can see this is the UCR data. The only other data file I have open is the census data. And by the way, if I didn't have my other data file open, I would be able to tell it to look for an external file. We're not going to worry about that. I'm going to say continue. And you can see here we get a couple of different options. We have merge method, we have variables. Don't worry about variables right now. Let's simply start here where we say merge method. We're going to say one-to-one merge based on key values. All right. And you can even see here it's identified a variable with the same name. I'm going to click over here where it says variables. And you can see that what it's told us is that the key variable that we're going to match on is the FIPS code. Now it's also telling you it's run into a little bit of an issue, which is you have two variables with the same name. So over here you've got a variable called state, and over here you also have a variable called state. So it's telling you it's going to drop one of them. But since this data is the same, who cares if it drops one? It's going to tell us the same. So once I've done that, I'm simply going to say OK. And now you might remember with my earlier data file, it ended with offense, what did we say, 998. Now you can see I've added here a number of new variables. And these are all of the these are all of the census data added to the UCR data file. In fact, if I scroll over here to the right, you can see we've now got area name, population, labor force employed, unemployed, unemployment rate, and the median household income. So basically everything that was in our earlier file. Now, I would likely decide to go here and delete this first row because this was actually, if you remember, this was the file from the UCR, which was supposed to be, from the census, which was United States estimates. We're not worried about that. So I'm just going to hit delete. And by the way, we aren't worried about it because we're looking at states. We don't worry about the country as a whole. And we come down and we can see that everything now seems well put together. And that is how we use the merge command. If you have any questions, as always, feel free to contact me. Have a great day.